Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum. All right, I want everybody to continue praying for me by leaving some dislikes on this video. I've been getting a lot of likes lately, and that's not good. Historically, likes bring me a lot of bad luck for some reason. So I need you guys to only hit the dislike button, please. There is a lot going on in my life, especially uncertainty, which is what is destroying me. I don't need to tell you guys the weather here is already very uncertain. We were supposed to get 100-degree temperatures for the next week, and then God decided to give us a little bit of relief, which is good. But it makes me worry, how long is this relief going to last? Now, I love all of my students. I teach at Glendale Community College, and but at the same time, I really Peter dislike the climate here. So I'm torn. Sometimes I'll be talking to one of my students or a prospective student, and they look forward to taking my class, right? And I have to look at them with a straight face and promise to go to teach whatever class, knowing that I really Peter dislike the weather and may go somewhere else, right? It tears me apart when I have to do that. But last year, hot weather really destroyed me. I have to remember that I have to put on my own oxygen mask before I can help assist other people with putting on their oxygen masks, right? I sometimes have to remind myself that if I'm burnt out over hot weather, my teaching is going to suffer. We already saw that earlier this year when I got a really bad performance review, right? Because I was trying to put on so many other people's oxygen masks first. Definitely cannot do that. But there's another degree of uncertainty. I'm looking for work in other cities. Today, I applied to a job in Salt Lake City. I'm looking for work in Taiwan as well. Over in Taiwan, they're not being affected by the tariffs. You can still order bismuth from China, believe it or not. By the way, I'm kind of really excited about this whole tariff situation. There's another thing about the tariff that I think will happen. And so, right now, as I speak, China is retaliating by not exporting bismuth, indium, and what are the other metals to the United States and a few other countries. They're still exporting it to Taiwan for some reason, but not to the U.S. I suspect what's happening is that you got to remember what bismuth is for the most part. It's a byproduct of mining gold. Obviously, China's not going to be stopping mining gold anytime soon, right? And so I suspect during this whole tariff situation, they're accumulating a lot of bismuth. You got to remember, bismuth is a waste product where you can't just dump it into the ocean. There's environmental effects of that. And so when they finally reopen the gates, bismuth could be flooding the market. It could go for a negative price. I really look forward to that. And uh, so I can't wait to buy a lot of bismuth when it's all said and done. But the uncertainty is destroying me. Uncertainty about my bismuth art career, uncertainty about the where I'm going to live, uncertainty about my dating situation. So you may remember when I was in Taiwan, my grandmother had passed away. I went up to her casket and I asked her to go talk to Mary Curry and asked Mary Curry to set me up on a date with one of her descendants. And so I cannot believe what happened. Just the other day, while I was waiting for another date to show up, some of the people that I date don't always have very good etiquette. They show up late and all that. And showing up late, aside from being an insult, it makes me wonder. They must have a lot of options open to be. It's kind of like if you showed up to work late, right? You got to have a second or third job in order to stomach the concept of showing up to work late. Right? So when somebody shows up to a date with me late, it makes me wonder who else they have in their life, right? Aside from the insult and the wasting my time, it also makes me wonder that as well. And so it's not a very good feeling. And so I had gone to online to research Mary Curry's family tree, and I discovered her granddaughter Helene. Not only is she still alive, 97 years old, but she's still quite active. She still has a university email address, And I decided to contact her just to see what would happen. And I reminded myself that my grandmother had talked to Mary Curry. Maybe this is going to turn out. And so, to my surprise, it turned out she responded to me. And we've been talking about potentially meeting someday. Now, that wasn't the only Polish celebrity that I was having contact with recently. In 2002, Evelina Folenta won second place on Polish Idol season one, and I've been fascinated with her because she seems to have found a happy medium with a. It sounds like a marriage to herself, right? And obviously she has a lot more resources than I do. I tried a marriage with myself, but I quickly ran into barriers. Every time I had something that kind of would be nice to have a second set of hands. Evelina Folenta, if she got a bad case of COVID during a heat wave, she's got resources, right? She could order delivery, she could order all kinds of services, she could hire people to tend to her home life. I didn't have that privilege, right? That's what I've come to discover. But I encouraged her to write some songs about her marriage to herself, and she did. And recently, while I was talking to Mary Curry's granddaughter, I decided to make some art of, you guys saw Monument in Poland, and all of a sudden it got Evelina Folenta interested. We had a few back and forth messages the other night, and I dropped the L bomb on her again, and she had good feelings about it. The only problem is that I had a dream about her one night, and a lot of these dreams end up coming true. So, for example, 2 years ago, I had dreamt about an ex girlfriend, and in the dream, I was really mad at her. And in the dream, she had just gotten married, and I was really mad at both of them, she and her husband. And I had just started my art career at the time. I decided to give them a radioactive geode as a wedding gift, and it was highly radioactive material. And they kept it up in their bedroom, and it was slowly killing both of them. They had no idea why they were losing their hair and dying. And so I really had to bite my lips to keep from telling anybody what was going on. And so not long after that, she actually did get married. When she got married, I wasn't so upset at her or her husband. I was more upset at the amount of time that had passed since the time I knew her. And so much time had passed, and not much had gone on, and it made me feel like life was going on fast forward. That was what I was upset about, not the fact that she got married or that it didn't work out. No, I'm happy for her. So I gave them a radioactive geode, but it was only a few quadrillion times less radioactive than the one in my dream, right? Not quite enough to kill people. In fact, just keeping that in their room probably exposes them to less radiation than they would have got, because it's also a good shield as well, right? So, all right. So let's do some fortune tell. Let's tell about Helene first. 8. Oh. All right. Well, she's 97 years old, right? So, all right. Let's do Evelina Folenta. Good. 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 Oh, that's a nice long streak. No fours, no fours. In Chinese, the number 4 sounds like the word for death, so it's bad luck. Oh, that's a long streak right there. I'm really gonna. Oh, but that was a long streak. I think. What's the probability of drawing this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 4 was number 17. How about the girl in Taiwan? She's been kind of hot and cold with me, and earlier today she mentioned that the reason she hadn't been talking to me was because it reminded her of the upset. She had planned to come study in the United States at some point, but when she talked to me, it reminded her of all the upsets with Trumpnomics and all that. Let's do a fortune till 8. 7, 3. Oh, good, 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 good. Oh, that was 5 cards, and then the number 4. And then there was a 16-year-old girl that decided to go to the carnival with me. It sounds like she has weird interests for me. She said that I had really strong body odor, but that she liked it, and I know why. I didn't tell her about it. Oh, you guys know what I eat to create a really strong body odor. Uh, 8. Oh, oh. So, so it sounds